Namo Sanji. Regarding the practice of ahimsa or non-violence, sometimes it seems that a violent act can be stopped only through violent means. Is this the right thing to do if a greater violence is prevented?
If we become practitioners, violence can be committed physically, violence can be committed in speech, violence can be committed mentally, violence can be committed emotionally. If we are violent, we are going to experience in our life violence. The more violent we are, the more violence we are going to experience. In fact, the key, the highest principle among all spiritual laws is ahimsa. If we become non-violent, we immediately are coming in tune and in harmony with the whole universe. If you can afford, do your level best, little by little, to practice ahimsa. It is very tempting due to tendencies, due to conditioning, due to mental habits. It's very tempting to be violent. There may be people that need to be violent, maybe, but remember, we are yogis. A yogi is a person that takes 5 universal vows. The foundation of yoga is 5 universal vows. The most important vow is the vow of non-violence. So although soldiers in the battlefield have to fight, like Arjuna, yogis have the primary duty of non-violence. We can benefit humanity a lot by the practice of non-violence. Remember Mahatma Gandhi. He practiced 3 things. He was not an infallible person. He wrote a wonderful autobiography that is called My Experiments with Truth. He describes his struggles. He focused his practice on ahimsa, satyam, and brahmacharya. Non-violence, truthfulness, and celibacy. These were 3 things that he practiced. He brought independence to India. He inspired the whole world. He uplifted the whole world just by practicing these 3 yogic principles. For a yogi, the practice of ahimsa has a primary importance. Ahimsa is a special contribution of every yogi to the world. There are enough people in the world that practice violence. It's important that there will be people that practice non-violence. It's a wonderful practice, very difficult, it's not easy. It requires a lot of understanding. It requires courage. To practice non-violence requires a lot of courage. It requires deep understanding of reality. We cannot become saints overnight, but we can become saints little by little. Every small act, I call it act, although it sounds counterintuitive, every small act of non-violence takes you on a wonderful path towards your real destiny, that is self-realization. Every day you contribute to stepping towards the goal of your life and to uplifting the whole humanity. Therefore, the advice is that although there is a mental temptation to practice violence, maybe a psychological temptation, maybe an emotional temptation, maybe a logical temptation, gently push all of these temptations aside and follow the path of ahimsa. This is my suggestion. Pick up the Bliss Divine of Swami Shivananda. Read the chapter about ahimsa. You will be inspired. You will understand how to practice this. This is a major practice for every yogi. So we need to be aware of the mind. The mind that is not pure is like in the position of an enemy. It's like an enemy towards ourselves. On the other hand, the mind that is pure is like a friend. If the mind is telling us to practice ahimsa, the mind is a friend, and we can follow that mind. Otherwise, we need to follow another path, which is the path of ahimsa. So kindly, if you can, if you like to try it, practice ahimsa.